Hello everybody, you got Cool Guy here, and I will be showing you today how to upload different server jars to your Multicraft panel for Prime servers. Please note that this is directed towards Prime servers customers, however this can be applicable for anybody who is using the Multicraft panel. So, right now I've just logged into, this is just a test user, but this is simulating exactly what you would see as you logged into your customer control panel for your new Minecraft server. So, as you can see here, you've got our chat, you've got the console, which is probably one of the more important parts because you could see different, any errors that pop across your server. You got your players, which I won't go over today. You got your files, so you got your config files. And this has every default file that's generated. Now, it only shows up if it's been generated, so if you've just got your server and you have not started it yet, you will not see those servers, or those files. You got local plugins, which don't apply right now. FTP file access, which I'll go over in a second. You have your setup, your backup. In the advanced, you have commands, scheduled tasks, users, and startup parameters. And then over here, you have your name of the server, which you can customize, the player slots, which you can customize, the status of your server, as well as the banner, your IP address, and your port. Note that this will vary based on for every case. Then you also have your world name. So if you want to use a specific world name, you can edit it here. Just for the heck of it, I'll name this one Test. You have your different server jars. And these are all built default and could change after this video is uploaded, so please keep that in mind. You have your accept EULA button, which I'll hit now, and that'll automatically accept your EULA without you having to go in and manually edit that config file. In advanced settings, you have the amount of memory that you have assigned to your server, which would be what you're paying for. Look for jars in, which is a very important selector. So daemon jar directory basically means when you select one of these, it'll look for what Multicraft has right now. So when Prime servers runs our updates, that's what it'll be pulling from, is the latest update that Prime servers has ran. You have your server jar directory, which you will not be using, and then you have server base directory. Now, server base directory is what you're probably going to want to use for custom jars, custom versions, or modded servers, however you might want to use. So I'm going to click Save there. Now, if you'll notice, you have this text field. Now, this is edited because I was messing around with this before this video. However, normally when you switch to that, it'll be blank, and that's what I'm going to set it to for right now. So if we go over to the files and we go to FTP file access, you'll see some information here, and I'll go over what all that means when we go and use Filezilla later. But password's already cached because I've already logged in. Normally you'll just enter in your password to get into your control panel. I log in, we got all these files here, right? Right now there's no jar, because when you first get your server, it's going to be pulling from the daemon jar directory, and it will not have a jar file in your server base directory. You'll have to upload this manually. Now if I click upload, this is where you'll upload a lot of your mostly configuration files. If you want to, you could zip up certain smaller files to get them under that 8 meg. But if you see these restrictions, you know you can only upload one file maximum of 2 meg, which should change in the future. That's one thing I will be looking into after this video. And you have PHP limits by 8 meg, which again I will try and work on changing after this video is over, as well as with a max execution time of 30 seconds. So what this means is basically you just can't upload bigger files. Normally this wouldn't be a problem for configuration files and smaller plugins. However, if I was to download, let's say, Minecraft, which I've already downloaded, you'll see that the Minecraft server jar is 9.3 megs. It's just over that limit. So if I try and upload it, it's sending its request. and you get this error 400. Now don't worry too much about this, that's just because the file was too big and it timed out. We'll go back to our servers page. Right? If I click on files and go back to FTP access, you notice you have a lot of this information here, right? So what this is for is so that you can use, as it states up here, another FTP program. Now, everybody has their preferences. If you already have a preference, then you can pretty much ignore this. You're basically just going to log in, and this is the information you'll use to log in. I'm going to open up Filezilla, which is what I'm going to use for this video, and I'll show you how to connect to your server from there. Right, so here we've got Filezilla. And this right here is your basic interface, which you'll see. The only difference is what's over here is what's on your local computer, and this is what would be on your server. Now in order to connect, you're going to need the host, username, password, and port. Now if you'll notice, this information is pre-filled, and that's just because I've already done this once. If I look here, you got your FTP address, this is your host, right? So that's the IP address, here's the port, this is your username, and then the password is the same password you use to log into Multicraft. So if I go over to Filezilla, I've already filled this in. You got prime.12 as my username, and you got the password, port 21. If I click connect, it'll go ahead and go through all this stuff. It says logging in, and then directory listing successful. Now here, if you look, it's the same thing as over here in your FTP, right? So this is your server. Now in order to upload a jar, let's use Spigot as an example here. So we'll scroll down here and I'll upload a Spigot. And this is going to take a second, so I'm going to pause the video and we'll be right back. And we are back. As you can see here, I just finished uploading and it disappears from queued files, but if I go to successful, you'll see it's right there. Actually, it's this one. Anyways, so now if I see here, you got Spigot 112 pre-snapshot, right? That's just what I'm using to demo this to show that there's a change. Now, if I go back, I'm going to show you what the startup normally looks like. We got daemon jar directory, and it's just going to run the default. Go to console and I click start. Right, it's going to load the configuration for the default server, and it's using 1.11.12. Right, simple startup. It's going to prepare the world test, and then server startup will be done. This is default vanilla bare bones Minecraft, so there's not much to it. I'll go ahead and stop the server, and then I'll go ahead and change this back to server base directory. I'll click save, and then if I go to your FTP file access, you got your snapshot here. I'm actually going to copy this name, right? Because what you're going to put into this field here is the jar name, right? The entire name of the jar. So you can shorten this in the file browser. If you can rename the file to just like spigot.jar. It's up to you. It just has to be whatever that file is that you're loading in that base directory is what this has to be. So now that that's there, I'm going to click save, and we'll go back over to your console. Right, now if I click start, we'll notice this difference in a second when this loads the server version. As you can see here, it says starting Minecraft server version 1.12 pre-5. That right there shows that it is now loading the different version. As you can see, all this different stuff they're showing across that did not show up before. That right there is showing that it is now loading Spigot, not just Minecraft. So now you have a plugins folder. You can actually upload plugins and make use of the Spigot API versus just using default Minecraft. That's probably about it. At this point, this does not matter if you have something here. So you don't have to worry about this being set to Spigot, because it's just not going to make a difference when you have a custom jar, except it'll rename what you have here. So if you do change that, it will rename this. Please be wary of that and make sure you paste your name back in, or else it'll throw your entire thing off. Now, as I noticed here, it threw it back to default. It's because it doesn't know that this is Spigot. So it doesn't matter what this... You shouldn't have to touch this if you're using a custom jar. You also have permissions here. This is if you were adding users to Multicraft, but I don't think I have permissions set up for you to do this. And And then, like I said, in these advanced settings, you can actually have auto kick in the server. You can have crash detection, so that if your server crashes, it'll automatically restart it. That is completely up to you. I've left you guys the option to customize that as you feel like you need it. I think that's about it for this video. If you guys feel like you have any other questions, please make sure you let me know. I will have this video uploaded to our knowledge base as well as to my YouTube. So if you did like the video and you're watching this from YouTube, please like the video and subscribe. I will have more videos coming for tutorials on how to use more Prime servers services. And if you have further questions and you are a customer, please do not hesitate to put in a support ticket, and I will reply to it as soon as possible, and even possibly be able to set up a one-on-one meeting either in our TeamSpeak, in our Discord, or over the phone to try and sort out your problems. Outside of that,